Hello, YouTube family. Greg D, aka the DCUO Gingerbread Man, back here with another video. So today, what I wanted to do is I've been getting some requests to do like a Starbolt or a pet loadout with Starbolt in there. Now I have tested this before, and personally, I prefer Spore Pod over Starbolt. Um, Even though we are using the Brine Hall Supercharge in this case, because I don't have the Bat Swarm one from the time capsules, but I've tested them both. Personally, I think that Starbolt gives you more consistent damage compared to Starbolt, but I wanted to show you both ways just to kind of show you. So here is the loadout that I use for my Might Pet thing, basic, more like my Might Pet loadout, essentially, is what I should say. So I'll start off with the artifacts. I'm using Source Shard, Sinestra's Ring, Eye of Gemini, Quizlet, and Omega. Now, could I have an extra pet artifact in there? Yeah, probably. I could have Mercy, I could have Grim, I could, something like that. Unfortunately, I don't have Mercy or Grim leveled up to a point where I can really use them. So not going to worry about that at all. As far as my allies are concerned, I'm using Constantine for the buffs. This is more for helping myself and the group, especially with the top end content. So you're good there. And then as far as our pets, because this is a pet loadout, we're using Zatanna. Here, the Arcane Battery, which as you'll see there, after using 6 damage dealing abilities, give ability summon pets, restored power, and increased damage dealt by 7% because she's not fully maxed out yet, as you can see. But this does include Fortified Golem offering. I don't use any of those anyway. And then the Mercy Attack Protocol, which again, I don't have Mercy, so I can't really use that anyway. And then we have Emperor Aquaman for our trinket pets. When we summon the pets, outgoing damage is increased by 7%. Again, that'll be higher once we get them leveled up. But as far as the actual loadout is concerned, with this one, we are using Godwave, Spore Pod, Soul Bolt, which will be our charge for Omega and the Supercharge itself. We have Fury, obviously, because it is a pet loadout. Omega, and then the Brine Hulk. Again, this is the, I figured this is a pet loadout. Let's use Brine Hulk in there. You could use the Bat Swarm one. Personally, again, I don't have that one. But we'll show you this way, and then I'll show you how it compares with Starbolt in there. Again, personally, I don't like Starbolt in my pet loadout, anyway. I do have a Supercharged Spam loadout that I've posted on the channel using Starbolt. But again, I'm not really a fan of using it with the pet, but we'll show you. So let's just get right into it here. So it would probably help if I actually had my Fury out and ready here too. So I'm not even going to bother with the Supercharge here just yet. Oh, it would probably help too if I was in there. There we go. Yeah, it probably would help if you could actually see what we're doing. So let's start this over again. Would probably help if you could actually see what we're doing here. So this is with this Spore Pod. Again, I understand that most people don't have, well, I shouldn't say most people, but I know there are a lot of people, I should say, that don't have Spore Pod because they missed the spring seasonal event. And I will say, don't worry about that, because with how the developers have been giving us a lot of, new iconic abilities anyway. And each one that they come out with seems to be pretty OP as it is. So if you missed one, don't worry about it. If you missed Shadow Curse, if you missed Spore Pod, don't worry about that, because more than likely you're going to end up getting one in the upcoming future that'll be just as good, if not better. So, but as you can see here, I don't have my trinket pets. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just doing the base damage itself. So we're in the range of we're 10 million to 15, 16 million here, right? So nothing crazy, right? Again, we're just pretty much spamming Soul Bolt so that we can get Omega and the Supercharge going. Just gonna pop Godwave Strength as soon as we get it. We're going to pop Omega as soon as we get it. So there's an 18 million there. Again, I don't have any of the trinket pets or anything going here yet. But you're just spinning the Soul Bolt, like we've talked about with my other video, right? All right. So now if we pop everything, if we pop it, we get Constantine, we get all of our dudes out. If we do have the new zombie guys. Well, I do have the new zombie guys. So we're just popping, we're dealing, so we're at a 22 there. So we're, you know, with everything rolling, and now don't forget, in most content, you're going to have all this stuff anyway. So, I mean, you're hitting 20 million when you have everything out. Maybe once everything goes away, you're still in that 15 to 18 range. Again, Sorcery is not the most powerful power that we've tested as of late. Ice has been better than this, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. Ice has been better. Rage has obviously been better. So, when you have everything rolling here, you're doing okay damage. I mean, you can easily hit 20 plus when you get everything rolling here, right? All right. So now what we'll kind of do the same thing. So base damage wise, you're in that 10 to maybe 15 range. With everything going, you're about 20 to 22, right? So what I'll do now is we'll add Starbolt into here. And what I'll do is it's basically going to be the same loadout, except it's going to be Starbolt instead of Spore Pod. And we'll show you the difference. We'll see if it does make a difference. Personally, again, I'm not really a huge fan of the Starbolt instead of the Spore Pod in my pet loadout anyway. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use it entirely, because I've found that in non-pet loadouts, especially if you want to have like those supercharged spam builds, Starbolt does work fantastic. So I'm not saying that it doesn't work, because you should definitely use it in those cases. You know what I mean? So we'll just kind of play along here. So I mean, the damage is pretty similar, honestly. I mean, 12, 15. But I want to wait and see, is the peak damage when you have all your guys out similar? But again, it's not. There's not much of a difference there, honestly. I think personally, I just like Spore Pod because you don't have to worry about the combo. But there you go. There's a 16. So I mean, maybe the damage is going to be really similar. It's probably going to be negligible if you use one or the other. And could you use both technically? Yes, but you would have to get out. Like if you did want to have, see, Omega is just too good. I mean, you could get rid of Omega because it does take up obviously a slot in your rotation. But I mean, Omega is just too good not to use it in this might setup. Again, you could kind of throw in another pet instead of Omega if you wanted to. You could throw in a Grim, you could throw in a Mercy, which maybe I will try and test at some point. Maybe I will mess with that. But I mean, you're right in that same realm, 10 to 15. So, is one better than the other? No. And if you don't have Spore Pod, you could certainly put Starbolt in there. Okay, so now we've got everything. So let's test everything out here. There we go. We're going to get the Omega there. We're going to pop out our thing. And we're going to pop out this. So there's an 18. There's a 22. So, I mean, yeah, they're right about where there's not much difference, at least for me. Maybe you guys might be a little different, but there's not much in the way, it seems like, a difference between um, yeah, see, right around 20, 22. There's not much of a difference here. There's really not. It's crazy. I mean, they're almost identical in how they perform. So this is probably what I would do if you wanted to, again, if you wanted to use Starbolt and you wanted to consistently have, you don't have Spore Pod, you consistently wanted to have your Brine Hulk or your Neo Venom boost up or something like that. So, again, they're very similar in damage. So, again, you're right in that 10, at least for me, 10 to 15 million over 10 seconds base damage, and then with everything up and running, you're right around 20 million, give or take a couple, maybe 22, 23 on the high end, maybe like 18, 19 on the low end there. So either way, that's what it is. So if you're sorcery, and again, if you really didn't want to use Omega, you could, if you wanted it to be more of a pet build. I can't talk. If you wanted it to be more of a pet build, you could throw in, again, like a Mercy or a Grim here instead of Omega. But Omega is just so good that I like having it in my setup there. So I don't know. So, I mean, decide for yourself, see what you like, and then, kind of run with it. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this video right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. And until next time, see you soon.